Okay, so to do portion costing, step number one, we convert it to metric if it isn't already in metric, or whatever the measurement unit is that the recipe is using. So have a look at the recipe unit, and if it's in grams, let's move it over to grams. Okay, step number two then, for each recipe ingredient, find out the price of a single unit. So for example, if you're talking about grams of flour, find out how much is 1 tiny gram of flour going to cost you. So you might be buying in for 2 kilograms of flour at 250. So 1 gram of flour is going to be 250 divided by 2000. Now this 2000 is because there's 2000 grams in 2 kilograms. So we take the 250 and divide by 2000. So we find that 1 tiny gram of flour is going to cost us this amount here. Okay, step number three then, multiply the cost of a single unit, a single gram for example, by the quantity required in the recipe. So the recipe requires 350 grams of flour, so we take 350 and we multiply it by this figure up here. Okay, and we get 0.43 or 0.44 per gram per 350 grams. Step number four is total the cost for the whole recipe. So this is just the flour. Then you'd add in the butter and the sugar and whatever else is in the recipe, and you add them all up together to see how much the whole bowl or batch is costing you. And then you divide how much that batch is costing you by the number of portions you're getting. So you've worked out here how much the whole cake is costing you, and then you divide by the number of slices or portions that are within the cake. So let's go back to the apple juice example now. So the apple juice. Step number one, convert to metric. That's fine. We're in the same measurement that we already were. So find the price of a single unit. We've got 6 apples, okay, are costing us 60 cents. So we have to find out the price of a single apple. So we know that 6A, or 6 apples, is 60 cents. We've written it in the language of maths. And we divide both sides by 60. We've got the 6 over here, and that makes that a single apple, and the 60 cents divided by 6, and we work out that 1 apple is going to cost us 10 cents. Then we multiplied by the quantity required. So our recipe said you needed 5 apples. So we know that a single apple is costing us 10 cents. So we multiply the single apple by 5 to give us 5 apples. So a single apple multiplied by 5, 10 cents multiplied by 5. Do the same to both sides of the equation. And we get that 5 apples is equal to 50 cents. Step number 4, total the cost for the recipe. Fortunately, this recipe only has a single item, so that's grand, we're fine. And then it makes 2 glasses, so how much for the whole recipe? So it's 2 glasses, 50 cents. 1 glass is 50 cents divided by 2, which is 25 cents. Okay, so it's 50 cents divided by 2 gives us 25 cents. So a single glass of apple juice is costing us 25 cents. So let's make the recipe a little bit more complicated. We're only going up to 2 ingredients at this point, but again you'll see the method and you'll follow this on for any other recipe that you're doing. The recipe then serves 3 adults, so it's got 3 portions. It's 120 grams of porridge oats and 720 ml of semi-skimmed milk. So our costs then, we know that 1 kilogram of oats is costing us 120 and 1 litre of semi-skimmed milk is costing us 70 cents. So how much is it for a single portion of porridge? That's what we're trying to find out. Okay, so we go back to our method. Step number 1, convert to metric. It's already in metric, we're fine, we can skip this step. Step number 2, for each recipe ingredient, find out the price of a single unit. So we want to find out the price of a single gram of oats. So we know that 1 kilogram of oats costs us 120. So 1 gram of oats costs us 120 divided by 1,000. There's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So we work out that this is the price of a single gram of oats, a tiny little amount of oats. So for the milk then, 1 litre of milk costs 70 cents. 1 milliliter of milk, there's 1,000 milliliters in a litre, costs us 70 cents divided by 1,000. So that's the price of a single milliliter of milk. So we need to multiply it up for the quantity that the recipe requires. So we know that the recipe needs 120 grams, not a single gram, but 120 grams. So we multiply 120 by the price of a single gram of oats and we get 0.144. The recipe requires 720 mils of milk, so it's 720 multiplied by this here for the single milliliter of milk, and we work out that 720 millilitres is costing us 50 cents. Total them all up together, so we add this plus this and we get 64 or nearly 65 cents. And then we take that and we divide by the number of portions. So that recipe made 3 portions, so we take this total for the recipe and we divide it by 3, and we work out that a single portion of porridge is costing us 21, rounded up 22 cents per portion. Okay, that's the end of this video.